What if everything you think you know about Jesus' face is wrong? August 2025, Iznik, Turkey. Blazing heat, choking dust. You're on an archaeological dig led by Gulshen Kutbay in the ancient Hisardere Necropolis. Weeks of back-breaking labor, then clang. A shovel strikes hollow stone. You smash through a sealed wall. For the first time in 1700 years, daylight floods a secret tomb. 5 souls lie in silence, 2 young adults and a tiny 6-month-old infant. Your flashlight sweeps the walls and you freeze. There, in impossibly vivid colors that defy time, is a young, clean-shaven man in a Roman toga, gently carrying a goat on his shoulders. This isn't some pagan myth. This is the earliest Good Shepherd image of Jesus ever found in Anatolia, and it completely shatters the iconic bearded Jesus we've all grown up with. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've all seen the paintings, the long hair, the flowing beard, the somber Middle Eastern carpenter. But the people who painted this tomb in the 3rd century didn't see him that way. They lived in a world of intense Roman persecution, where being a Christian was a death sentence. To them, the cross wasn't a piece of jewelry. It was a terrifying symbol of state-sponsored execution. So they didn't paint crosses, they painted code. Archaeologist Eren Erten Ertem realized immediately that this figure, the youth with the goat, was their Jesus. It was a Kriophoros, a shepherd. But here's where it gets wild. By depicting him as a clean-shaven youth in a toga, these early believers were doing something incredibly strategic. They weren't rejecting Roman culture, they were rebranding it. Look closely at the details of the Iznik fresco. This Jesus doesn't look like a wandering preacher from Judea. He looks like a Roman citizen. He's youthful, full of vitality, and dressed in the fashion of the elite. This was a radical choice. The philosopher's beard we associate with Jesus today didn't become the standard until much later, around the 4th or 5th century. In 2025, we're finally seeing the original vision, a protector who looked like the people he was protecting. And that animal on his shoulders? It's a goat, a specific Anatolian touch that shows how early Christianity adapted to the local land. This wasn't a distant, foreign deity. This was a god who lived in their neighborhood, wore their clothes, and spoke their visual language. This discovery proves that the early church was a master of the middle ground. They were living in the shadows, working within the belly of the beast to transform it from the inside out. They used pagan artistic motifs, birds, plants, the shepherd, and infused them with a new secret meaning. It was a stealth religion. If a Roman guard walked into that tomb, he'd just see a nice painting of a farm boy. But to the grieving parents of that 6-month-old infant buried there, it was a message of hope. It was a promise that their child was being carried by a Roman-style protector into the next life. It's a visceral reminder that history isn't a straight line. It's a series of layers, and sometimes we have to peel back nearly 2,000 years of art to find the human heart underneath. Fast forward to November 2025. The impact of this find was so massive that Pope Leo XIV made a historic pilgrimage to Iznik. It was the 1700th anniversary of the Council of Nicaea, and the atmosphere was electric. In a moment of high-stakes diplomacy, Turkish President Erdogan presented the Pope with a gift, a tile painting inspired by this exact Good Shepherd fresco. Think about that for a second. A 3rd century image painted in secret by persecuted believers was now a bridge between world leaders in the 21st century. Iznik has become a global focal point, a place where archaeology and faith collide in a way we haven't seen in decades. The shepherd has stepped out of the shadows and into the global spotlight. Right now, restorers are working with microscopic precision to preserve those 1,700-year-old pigments. They're stripping away the grime of centuries to reveal a face that challenges our modern icons. The Iznik fresco reminds us that our visual history of Jesus isn't a photograph, it's a mirror. Each culture, each century, paints him to look like what they need him to be. The early Christians in Turkey needed a Roman protector, so that's who they painted. It makes you wonder, if we've been wrong about his face for nearly 2 millennia, what else are we missing? This find is just the beginning. Recent scans of the Hisardere area suggest there are more lost depictions waiting just beneath the soil. The question is, what happens to our faith when the truth finally comes to light? Maybe the real revelation isn't in changing what we believe, but in remembering that faith has always been about carrying each other home.